Well, hello everyone. It's Lisa Turner here from Psycademy, and I'm feeling a little bit shaky, a little bit not nervous, just kind of it's a lot of energy around what I'm going to share with you today. So really it boils down to a question, and I'm going to tell you why I'm asking the question. So, and if you have any questions or comments, pop them in the thingy. Even if if you're listening on replay, I will come back and answer them as best I can. So I've got a question. I'm going to ask you something, and it's this. Will you join me to help change this industry? I have been in the field of psychic development, spiritual development for over 20 years now. And when we first started this, it was amazing. It's like, I knew there was something more. I knew I wanted to connect with, and I wanted to be, I wanted to feel like I was part of the divine. I knew I wanted, I was so fascinated with the mysteries, with the what's in the, what's the beyond, the things that we can't explain with science. I'm an engineer. My background is engineering, and the stuff that we couldn't explain as a scientist, we go, well, what's going on there? And I loved all that. I loved that exploration. And then I started to notice something, and it wasn't that great. So to begin with, it was this expansion. It was this freedom. It was this, it's okay to believe something different. It's okay to leave the dogma of religion. And it seems to me that something is it's not really working. And it's almost like we've got this whole spiritual community has become there's a little bit of dogma creeping in, and it's almost as if, and I am not one to believe in conspiracy theories. But there is something going on, and I want to change it. I want to be part of the change. And I would love for you to be too, because I think this could be the most important thing that could change the planet. And even, I'm not going to say save the planet, because I think the planet is going to be fine. And I think those of us who are awake and who are awakening and who are living it are going to be fine. But I think there's a lot of people out there who are struggling and who are suffering, and it doesn't need to be the case. So here's my little theory, and it sort of sounds like a conspiracy theory, but anyway, okay, it might be. Do you wonder if sometimes some of the things that are kind of the mainstream spiritual development current, what is currently believed and held to be a truth in spiritual development trainings, courses, books, do you think that if you ever think about them, have you ever noticed that some of them don't seem to be that empowering, and some of them are absolutely downright disempowering? Now, there's a whole bunch of them. That's like, I'm going to tell you the biggest one, the most disempowering one, in just a moment. But here's some of the more superficial ones. And it's things like that you have to protect yourself from what would be out there to attack you. That's a whole nother Facebook Live that we could do right there. But this is like, it's designed to set you up to, there's something you need to be afraid of, and you've got to do all this stuff that's going to take all your energy and attention so that you're safe. From what? And then there's this idea that, again, I'm going to come to the big one in a minute. So another one is, well, it's not meant to be. The universe, somebody else other than you, gets to decide what is right for you and what's not. And you don't have a choice, because you know what? You might really, really, really want to do something, but somebody else is telling you it's just not meant to be. It's not your decision. It's someone else's. That is disempowering. So, excuse me. I'm getting so excited here. So here's another one. Spirit will decide when spirit talks to you or not. You don't get to decide when your guides show up. You just have to wait and hope and wish and pray and wait and hope and wish and pray and wait and hope and wish and pray. And maybe they'll come today. Please, guides, please. Like, well, what if that wasn't true? Because that suggests that somehow you're not in control of it. That, it's disempowering. I just think about it. Who has the power if you don't get to decide when you communicate with your guides? Who has the power? Something else that's not you. So whenever you think of, so here's my little invitation, think of all the spiritual teachings that you have, and any time there's something that's outside of you that gets to decide something for you, that's disempowering. So in fact, if you can think of any, pop them in the comments box. You know what, I might even give a prize away. Who knows? Yeah, I will. I don't even know what the prize is going to be. I'm going to give a surprise prize to the person who puts the best, most disempowering thing that I haven't said. Okay? I know it's not going to be a Caribbean cruise, trust me, but it will be a prize. Okay? So here's the big one, right? You ready for this? It's all about money. It's not spiritual to be rich or not for personal gain. None of your psychic spiritual gifts that's none of those you shouldn't charge, right? So let's look at this. If we decide that, there's so much I could say right here, right? But if we say that those, first of all, it's not a gift. In fact, the idea that it's a gift is disempowering, because I get to decide whether I give you a gift or not, or spirit decides whether they give you the gift or not, and you're the lucky one, but oh no, that person over there, they're not the lucky one, or you're really unlucky because you didn't get the gift, right? So first of all, let's just get the gift BS right out of the window there. That's because that's another one. Somebody else other than you gets to decide whether or not you can do this. So first of all, everyone can do this, but you do need to train. It's like anything, it's like we are born with the innate ability to learn how to read, to play a musical instrument, badly or greatly, to, to walk, but we're not born knowing how to walk. We have to learn it. Sometimes we need training. We go to school to learn how to read, right? Maybe there's a walking school somewhere. I don't know. There probably is, right? So you learn and you train and you study and you develop your skills and your abilities, and you learn the most amazing, powerful transformational techniques that are like possible on the planet, but somehow you're not allowed to charge. That's like saying, right, you got a plumber, right? The plumber. Do you know how much it costs to train to be a plumber? It's in the 20s of thousands, about 20-odd thousand, not including equipment, right? To train to be a plumber. And they say, well, that's okay, but you've got a gift. You have the gift of magically knowing how them pipes work, so you can't charge, right? How is that any different to a spiritual service? How is plumbing different to a spiritual service? And somebody might say, oh, no, but spiritual is above plumbing. I actually think, I had some very interesting experiences over Christmas where our septic tank was getting flooded, and we had our septic tank, well, it was actually field water coming up into our drains, and we were pretty keen to get a plumber out. I thought that was a pretty spiritual experience. Digging ditches in the rain, in the dark, on Christmas, after champagne. It's the best way, right? So this idea that spiritual services are somehow different to any other service and that you're not supposed to charge, because let's face it, if you don't charge, what's the result of that? The result of spiritual people not charging is that spiritual people end up broke. They end up dependent on someone else, and somebody else has the power. And who has the power? The person who is going to gift them the money so that they can feed themselves, clothe themselves, or they'll end up doing two jobs. Now, I don't know about you. I think spiritual services are pretty important. And just like the plumber, or let's go somewhere else. Let's go to a doctor, right? Say you're going to have surgery, open heart surgery, right? Lucky that surgeon was born with the gift that was just beamed into them, and they watched a YouTube video one night and learned how to do it, right? No, they did spend years in medical school. Why do we pay heart surgeons a lot? Because we don't want them to be up all night stacking shelves in the night shift in Tesco's and then getting up and operating in the morning doing open heart surgery. I want my heart surgery, if I had to have heart surgery, which fortunately, heart is good. If I had to have surgery, I want my surgeon well rested. In fact, it was about 7 years ago, I had to have a really minor procedure. And the first question I asked the surgeon when he came in said, how are you feeling today? It doesn't matter how I feel. How do you feel? Do you feel good? And he thought it was hysterical. He says, don't worry, I don't feel, I'm not going to take my frustrations out on you or anything. I'm feeling really good. So that's how your client wants you to be. They want you to be rested, to be inspired, to be connected, to have had time to do your meditation and your exercise, so that you can serve them really well. Because here's the other thing. If it's not allowed, so first of all, who gets to say it's not allowed? That somehow it's not allowed, you're not allowed to charge, right? Oh, I'm loving all the smiles and the hearts and all sorts of things whizzing across. Keep that coming, I love it. So if somebody else decides and determines for you whether it's okay for you to charge, like there's some unspoken rule. And here's my first challenge. If you believe that it's not okay to charge, tell me where it's written down, and I will probably it's like, you know, and I want to hear spiritual people should not charge. And if you're going to give me Timothy in the Bible, Timothy 5, I think it is, there's another whole video I did on that, right? It's actually out of context, and Timothy 4 or 6, Timothy 6 says, charge your spiritual teachers double. So it's in the Bible. Pay your spiritual teachers double. Spiritual teachers get double, right? Receive double what the farmer receives, because you've got their spiritual health and life in your mind, hands, energy field, right? So this idea that it's not okay to charge, it's disempowering. So here's what I'd love you to do. I would love you to join me in starting to change this industry. Share this video if you agree that there are some BS myths and disempowering beliefs, and join me, because I'm running join me to help change this industry. And to that end, if you know you want to learn how to do this, all those things I've said, how to connect with your guide, how to have those really powerful skills that will change your client's life. Because people don't go to a psychic because they want to know information. They actually want transformation. If you want to be the most amazing healer that is possible on the planet, learn the most advanced techniques, then I'm going to pop a link in the little comments for our spiritual practitioner certification training. And even if you're not sure, just apply anyway. Just apply. There's no commitment. We'll have a conversation. If it's right for you, we'll move you on to this, because this program is designed for anyone who takes this if you follow the instructions, and towards the end of the training, you will have, by the end of the training, before the end, it's not even at the end, before the end, you will have everything you need to go out and earn 6 figures, £100,000 as a spiritual practitioner. We're going to show you exactly how to do that, give you the inner confidence so that's possible. And here's why this is so important, because if we say spiritual people shouldn't charge, and by default we're also saying spiritual people should be poor, we're saying then also spiritual people should not have any money at all, and they should be powerless. And then what we're also saying is those other people who have the money have the power. So let's us all, whether you join me on Spirit Prac or not, let's us all step into our power. You know, power to the people, let's get money power to the spiritual people. Because if we say money power is not for the spiritual people, we're saying money power is for the non-spiritual. I don't know about you, but I think that it would be way better if the people who had the money were actually spiritually connected, coming from their heart, working in a totally ecological, ethically, you know, from the highest morals and highest, most connected ethical ways. I think, because otherwise we're saying all the people who don't have that, they're the ones who get to have the money, but the spiritual people, they get to be poor. Let's say the opposite. Let's say the people who should have the money, who it is the most important people to have the money, to be custodians of the wealth, are the ones who are spiritually connected, working in a spiritual way, working in a divine way, working for the highest good of all. And that includes the environment, the animals, the bugs and insects, the oceans. I live on the ocean, and, you know, we've had huge problems lately with the number of plastic bags and the amount of rubbish that's in the ocean. Just because people who aren't working from the highest good are doing all sorts of stuff that make that there's a whole chain of events that causes rubbish to end up in the ocean. And if we had some people who were in power, spiritually connected, had money, then that would change. So let's get the spiritually connected people to empower with money so that they are owning their money power. And if you're with me, you know, post a little, yes, we're with you. Yes, we agree. Spiritual people should be stepping into their money power. Money power to the spiritual people. Let's start doing that. If you want to join me to really change the industry and your life and the lives of your clients, click on the link I'm going to pop there in the comments in a moment. Apply for Spirit Prac, and we'll have a conversation. It'll be me or one of my team. we'll have a chat and we'll work out if Spirit Prac is right for you or not. And because we work from an extremely highly ethical way, if it's not right for you, we won't even offer you a place. Well, the worst that'll happen, or the best that will happen, is there's no worst or best in this. There'll just be, what will happen is we'll just have a nice chat, or we won't even waste each other's time. But if it is right for you, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. You know, you can ask any question you like about the program, about me, so that we can work out, you know, any question you like, so that we can work out if this is right for you, if this is right for you, so that you can learn how to be connected to your guides, receive that initiation into your high-level guide, learn how you can become a six-figure spiritual leader, six-figure spiritual practitioner, so that you can step into your money power. It's money power to the spiritual people. That's what it's about, right? So, got a little bit passionate there. Love you guys. If you like this video, if you think this is an important message, please share it. Please share it with anyone you know, and or tag them. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments. Even if you're listening to this on replay, don't worry, I'll come back and I will answer them at some point. Alrighty, till later on, till next time, lots and lots of love. Bye for now.